this video, I'm going to teach you why it's important that you make your own database. This is a content database. This is a database that's going to be full of content that's going to be easy for you and your team to reuse over and over again as you're building your brand, and not only that, to use as an asset for you for a lifetime, because every piece of content is actual, just like money, like real money. I would say digital money because it's digital, but it's really money. All right, so let me just tell you a little story first before I get into, breaking down some strategy for you guys to make it simple for you. So make sure you do save this video, but I'm going to tell you a little story too on why it's so important, because maybe this is going to actually make you have that aha moment and take action. All right, so back in 2028, I actually sold a business. It was over $3 million. I can't disclose everything about it because there was an NDA, but it was over $3 million. At the time, I was only in my 20s. And the whole business was just literally data. Literally, that's all it was. It was just data. You could say, well, it had these other things that people were interested in. It had a couple trademarks. It had like its own, you could say, proprietary domain and website and everything else. But essentially, with everything that it was made out of, it was all just data. And I don't mean like storing personal data, even though it did have a database of customers and of clients and of people that we worked with vendors, but primarily it was a database of content, of actual usable content within a certain industry. And that's what really made it sell so well, because we had so much content that it brought people in, constantly using the content, constantly reading it, constantly commenting, constantly coming back time and time and time again. And without that initial content, without us building out that content over years, because this business we started in 2000 to 2009 is when we officially sold it. It was actually under contract in 2008, but in 2009 it was officially transferred over to the new owners. With that, it was a lot of things that we had to put together that was content based, meaning we had a database of content that we transferred over, and that was the asset. That's what they were buying. They, of course, was buying the process on how we were acquiring customers, how we were growing it, and of course all of the domains and all of those assets. But it wouldn't have mattered if we didn't have anything there. That's just like having a storefront and having no goods. And all the goods maybe were, even if they were a lesser quality, it's still of value, okay? For me now, I'm building a database of content. You're seeing it on my social media. You're seeing my database come alive, actually being used and actually performing as it should across multiple networks and multiple platforms. You are seeing my brand build up its own database. My personal brand, one of my business brand pages, you are seeing that it is evolving. It is actually getting cataloged, getting organized to actually hit different targets. And with that, it becomes an asset. It becomes a more valuable asset, because now it's actually intentionally being built for a certain purpose, actually driving new customer engagement, actually retaining customers. So you need to also, as you are building your content database, be thinking about what the purpose of the content is. And you can break it down. So this is an easy thing that you can do literally today. Make sure you sign up for a Google account. And with the Google account, you're going to actually pay for the business services on that. It's only like I think it's like $20, $24 a month, maybe less than that. It's not that much. So with that, you are actually going to get a Google Drive, and in that Google Drive, you're going to make a main folder, and it's just going to be content. And then under content, you're going to make different categories depending on exactly what you want to use it for. But I highly recommend you make a database for your long form videos, your portrait, portrait ones, just like you're watching this format. You want also a format that's long, okay? And then from there, you can break it down further, okay? But just start with those. That's the simplest way to put it. And as you're building up your content, you're going to eventually branch out. This is going to be content that's just for maybe a course that you build. This is going to be content just on products you're selling or brands that you're pitching. This is going to be a database just for the content maybe somebody in your actual business is working on. So we actually have ours broken down by each person that puts in the work and the content, okay? And if it's your personal brand, you might not have that, obviously, because you're going to be the one showing up. But on a personal brand, it might be, what are you trying to promote? So is it a product? Then you're going to break that down into a separate folder. Is it going to be a service? And you're going to want to break that content down to a certain folder. Is it like travel related? Separate folder. Is it food related? Separate folder. And with that, it's going to be so much easier to catalog how much work you put into each one. So this is good metrics moving forward to see where you may be falling off and you need to concentrate more time and effort into, but also where you can eventually sell this brand. You can actually sell all this assets easily to another company and actually work on something totally different later down the line. But it doesn't work like that if you do not put any work into it and don't build that social that content database in the first place. So it is your time now. Instead of putting all your content just on social media, make sure that you do pay for a drive that is either on your own computer or an actual cloud drive, which I recommend you have both. But of course, definitely do the cloud drive, because with the cloud drive, then everybody on your team can eventually have access and they can use the content on your behalf. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like that, nice and simple. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you soon, and make sure you save this video. All right, take care.